Tonight on Y News. The PNP anti-kidnapping group secures evidence and witnesses that would link SPO3 Ricky Santa Isabel to the kidnapping case of Korean businessman Ik Jo Ji. Authorities expect to have the conditions for the bilateral ceasefire agreement to be set in the resumption of the peace negotiations between the government and the National Democratic Front panels next week.
Chinese nationals arrested in Fontana Casino in Pampanga claim to be victims of illegal recruitment. President Rodrigo Duterte welcomes Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in his humble abode in Davao City.
The Bureau of Customs revoked the accreditation of 71 importers and brokers in the country. And the government targets to simplify and fast-track the process of low-interest loans for small business corporations as an alternative to the 5-6 lending scheme.
Y News begins now.
This is Y News with Angelo Castro III, Jerry Alcantara, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The PNP anti-kidnapping group is convinced that SPO3 Ricky Santa Isabel has a huge participation in the kidnapping of Korean businessman Ik Jo Ji in Angeles, Pampanga on October 18 last year. Lea Ilagan will tell us why.
PNP-AKG Director Police Senior Superintendent Glenn Dumlao says they have 5 witnesses that point at SPO3 Ricky Santa Isabel as involved in the kidnapping of Korean Ik Jo Ji in Angeles, Pampanga on October last year. This aside from the CCTV showing him going in and out of the subdivision. There is also a verification of the plate of the car used in the kidnapping of the Korean national. The said car was named before the wife of Santa Isabel.
We have the goods on him. CCTV-wise, lahat ng CCTV na nakuha na namin hanggang yung pag-withdraw nila ng ATM Mastercard sa Northern Hills. And talagang siya. So, binabaliktad niya. So, ito, pathological liar itong police na ito.
This is why the PNP is closely investigating the 8 others accomplices of Santa Isabel, including 3 Koreans who have already been identified.
Yung Koreano ang lumapit sa mga eskalawag na pulis. Gusto kong tirahin to, baka may galit siya dito. Yung Koreano na involved.
Okay.
Ngayon, baka inisip rin ng mga eskalawag na pinuntahan na huwag mo natin patayin. Tirahin mo muna natin ito bago natin patayin. Magkapira pa tayo pang i-kidnap o ransom natin ito.
Authorities are also determining whether or not other higher officials have benefited from the 5 million pesos ransom money paid by the wife of the Korean businessman.
We have to leave no stone unturned hanging encompassing po ito. That was the marching order. Kung hindi naman, kung saan maabot ang galamay ni Santa Isabel, so be it.
Currently, PNP has launched a manhunt against Santa Isabel because his application for resignation is not yet approved.
The order of the chief PNP when he met the wife of the victim was to have a tracker team to locate him and put him in restrictive custody. But he continued to defy. The chief PNP during the interview said we will send a manhunt.
Despite this, team leader of Santa Isabel does not believe that one of his men is involved in the kidnapping of the Korean businessman.
I don't think so.
Bakit sir?
Well, because I am basing my my opinion on his past records,
Background.
on his background, on my interview with his previous commander. Because negosyante yan eh. I don't see any reason why he would do that. Wala akong nakikita why he would extort money from anyone.
Lea Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Chinese nationals arrested in Fontana Casino and charged with illegal gambling and violation of the anti-cybercrime law are claiming that they were victims of illegal recruitment. They also questioned the validity of the mission order and search warrant used by the raiding team. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The 39 Chinese nationals charged for illegal online gambling are now claiming they were victims of illegal recruitment. They were arrested in Fontana Casino in Clark, Pampanga last November 24. In their joint counter affidavit, the Chinese nationals claim that they were just promised call center jobs in the country. They say they have no knowledge that their local employer, Next Games Outsource Incorporated, doesn't have permit to operate online gambling. Some of them went to the country to work as cook, while others are just visiting the villa when it was raided.
We are of course arguing that these persons did not have any knowledge of the lack of a permit. Basically kasi yung charge lang naman dito yung walang gambling permit. But they were not in a position to know that. Kasi they were just employed by the company who runs the online gambling.
They also claim that they were made to sit in front of the computers when their pictures were taken to make it appear that they are involved in illegal online gambling. During today's hearing, their lawyers questioned the seemingly conflicting proceedings before the DOJ and the Bureau of Immigration. They say if the government intends to deport the Chinese, then why file a criminal case which would bar them from leaving the country?
Tinatanong ko yung complainant kung bakit final pa nila yung criminal case. There is already a deportation charge before the Bureau of Immigration. So parang these are two inconsistent actions. The objectives are inconsistent.
The Office of Cybercrime says the Chinese were charged because they were found violating the anti-cybercrime law. The respondents also claim the mission order used in Fontana raid was defective. Therefore, the case should be dismissed.
In the mission order, the subject is only foreigners who are allegedly violating immigration laws. So it's on its face invalid.
They further allege that the search warrant was issued after the raid to legalize the confiscation of computers and other equipment. The case is now submitted for resolution, and the DOJ panel will just decide if there is enough evidence to indict the Chinese nationals. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Government Peace Panel expects to have the conditions for the bilateral ceasefire agreement between the government and National Democratic Front discussed in the resumption of peace talks next week. Brian De Paz will tell us why.
The third round of talks between the government and National Democratic Front is set on January 18 to 25 in Rome, Italy, where both panels target to sign a joint ceasefire agreement. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana says they will discuss in the peace talks the conditions for the bilateral ceasefire agreement.
They are going to accomplish in Rome is to discuss the terms of the bilateral ceasefire agreement. That's why yesterday some of my people at DND went and also the people of General Anyo met with Secretary Loreza at OPAP.
Secretary Lorenzana says OPAP requested from the Armed Forces of the Philippines inputs that might be included in the said agreement. The Secretary also clarifies that there are no talks of signing yet after the resumption of the peace talks.
But hopefully they will be able to agree on this bilateral agreement, the ceasefire agreement.
Lorenzana says the bilateral ceasefire agreement would be a big help to prevent the occurrence of turmoil in Mindanao while the peace talks is ongoing. Defense Department says it is important to advance the government programs in Mindanao without any turmoil and extortion of some groups to businessmen.
Kasama yan sa ating ilalagay doon, pinapalagay sa ceasefire agreement, na itigil nila yung kanilang pangungutong dyan sa mga hinterlands.
Presidential Advisor on Peace Process Secretary Jesus Doreza has initially said the government is doing all it can to achieve peace, but it has to be balanced for all sectors and that it is important to cooperate with the advocacy of the President. Brian De Paz, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
Forces of the Philippines Public Affairs Office Chief Colonel Edgar Arevalo confirms that an army officer was killed while 6 soldiers were wounded in a recent clash with the Abu Sayyaf group in Sumisip, Basilan. The fatality was identified as Captain Clinton Longbas Capio. Meanwhile, AFP is still verifying the number of casualties on the part of the terrorist group. In other news, palace officials tag Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's visit to Davao City as simple and cordial. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
First on Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's schedule early today was a visit to President Rodrigo Duterte's home in Davao City. The two leaders had breakfast and President Duterte even showed the Prime Minister his room to show how simple his life is in Davao.
It was something comfortable for the both of them. It was in the President's house, so there were only a few people who were there, and he tasted all the dishes, of course, during that time. And of course, he enjoyed the simplicity because it's not something that's Japanese. It's something new to him.
After the simple breakfast, the two heads of state met with a group of Japanese and Filipino businessmen. But unlike yesterday in Malacanang, where they were in formal attire, Duterte and Abe were more casual today.
This is what the President wanted, yung friendly lang, yung hindi masyado ang yung formal at hindi masyado yung mga protocols, so that they would also feel we're more than friends, we're brothers. Yun ang tema po dito.
One of the historic events in the Prime Minister's visit to Davao was the eagle naming ceremony, where Abe adopted a Philippine eagle and named it Sakura, which in Japanese means cherry blossom. It is the first time that a foreign national and at the same time a head of state adopted a national bird of the Philippines. Sakura was rescued a month ago after it sustained an airgun bullet injury in its lower left abdomen.
Sa may groin area, naglaan siyang bala. Hanggang pambalat. I-assess pa namin kung baka delikado kasi kung sa muscle lang pwede pa siyang tanggalin.
The Prime Minister also tried eating durian, a fruit that is known for its smell and taste and can be found in Davao and nearby provinces. The Japanese leader also visited Mindanao Kokusai Daigaku, a school built by Japanese descendants, where he was greeted by a huge number of students. Past noon, the Prime Minister left Davao City onto his next official visit to Australia, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
Japan pledges full support to the Philippine chairmanship of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Summit 2017. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
The grand launching of the Philippine chairmanship of Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Summit at SMX Convention Center, Davao City is set on January 15, Sunday. Presidential Communications Assistant Secretary Ana Marie Banaag says ASEAN member states delegates are expected to arrive for the grand launching. Delegates expected to attend this major event is estimated at around 1,000.
And of course, on same date, on the launching, the ASEAN logo would be launched and the commemorative coin, commemorative stamp, and of course the ASEAN 2017 commemorative song.
Meanwhile, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has made public Japan's full support to the Philippines' chairmanship of ASEAN this year. The Japanese government also ensures its proactive cooperation on the issues of the region together with the Philippines as chair of the ASEAN. Japan will be prepared and ready to provide maximum support to achieve solidarity and centrality for ASEAN as one of the regions with fastest growing economies throughout the world.
東アジアサミット ASEAN 関連会合が大成功するよう最大限支援をしてまいります。
This year, the Philippines will have the chairmanship of the ASEAN, which celebrates its 50th anniversary. We support the ASEAN in its attempts to strengthen unity and centrality and to develop as a free and open community. From such a perspective, we will provide maximum support to make the East Asia Summit and the ASEAN-related meetings a tremendous success.
Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Human rights and labor migration are some of the priority issues that are expected to be tackled in the 2017 ASEAN Civil Society Conference. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Civil society groups in the Philippines are preparing for the 2017 ASEAN Civil Society Conference, which will be held in August.
And as this year's chair, it will be hosted by the Philippines. The group is confident that they will be heard this time on the issues they are pushing because the Philippines is the host country. Co-convener of ASEAN People's Forum, Dr. Eduardo Tadem, said for the past 11 years they have not been able to convince the Office of ASEAN to implement their recommendations. Among the issues that will be discussed are human rights, labor migration, inequality and poverty, and fair trade. They will also push to change the officials of ASEAN human rights for them to move freely.
Gusto namin independent body ito, mga citizens na independent para meron silang autonomy na ma-raise yung mga issues ng human rights dito sa kabuuan ng ASEAN.
Migrant workers' welfare will also be raised at the conference.
Maraming mga manggagawa, halimbawa sa Malaysia o Singapore, ay wala silang sapat na protection doon sa kanilang mga host governments. At maraming mga abuso na nangyayari.
The 50th founding anniversary of the ASEAN will be celebrated in Davao on the 15th of January this year. Ray Pilayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Bureau of Customs has revoked the accreditation of importers and brokers found involved in anomalous import transactions in the country. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
The Bureau of Customs or BOC has examined the list of accredited importers and brokers since 2011 to ensure their clean records. However, the agency's investigation reveals that some of the importers and brokers have been engaged in malpractices like misdeclaration, undervaluation, smuggling, and other violation of laws. This prompted the BOC to revoke their accreditation.
Ito yung mga pangalan na to. Ito yung mga na-seize natin, yung kanilang commodity. Or inabandon na nila yung commodities nila kasi right away, hindi nila kayang i-defend legally yung offense nila.
BOC revoked the accreditation of 71 importers and brokers, including those listed in the Port of Manila and Manila International Container Terminal. They were given 3 days to explain their side, but since Tuesday, only 5 were able to file their appeal so far.
You cannot do import business if you are not accredited. Hindi na sila pwedeng makapaghanap buhay sa importation.
There are 17 ports across the country. The BOC is set to inspect 15 ports to validate their ongoing transactions.
So we are publishing this para the public will be warned also. Na itong mga to, huwag niyo ng pagkatiwalaan. Go to the importers na hindi kasama dito sa blacklist na ng customs.
Overall, there are 11,000 accredited importers and brokers in BOC. The agency expects the number to decrease after their investigation. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Bureau of Customs.
Next in Y News. Low-interest loans for small business corporations are set to be made simpler and faster as an alternative to 5/6 lending schemes.
Senators oppose the proposed tax increase on cosmetics and fuel.
And Miss Universe 2016 candidates' menu includes native ingredients.
Y News will be right back. The government is offering an alternative, safer and lower interest rate loan to Filipinos who want to start a small business. Grace Cassin will tell us why.
Instead of loaning money from 5/6 lending scheme, which imposes 20% interest monthly, President Rodrigo Duterte urges Filipinos to just loan money from small business corporations that impose smaller interest rates. Filipinos can loan 5,000 to 100,000. The initial loan will only have 2.5% interest monthly without any collateral. This means that if you loan for an amount of 5,000, you will have 150 interest within 3 months. The said lending scheme is under the Pondo para sa Pagbabago at sa Pag-asenso or P3 of the Department of Trade and Industry. Everyone can apply for a loan with fewer requirements.
Naka-minimize actually ang requirements yan. Of course, kailangan may identification.
kailangan rin siguro mag-background investigation yung kung hindi pa kilala kung sino tong borrower na to, yung conduit namin. Maybe they will require business permit, but I don't know, maybe hindi rin. And then walang collateral to.
The Small Business Corporation is not the one who directly lends the money. The loan application goes to cooperatives, Market Vendors Association, and microfinancing institution it covers.
I-standardize namin yung documentation para kukunti lang. And then pati yung process para mabilis. Siguro yung initial matagal-tagal, 2 days, 3 days siguro yun dahil kilalanin mo rin yung borrower mo. But subsequently, yung mga re-availment na nila, yung renewal, sandali na lang yun within the day.
President Duterte initially vowed to allocate 1 billion pesos for loan funds for Filipino who want to start a small business. This is the alternative that current administration proposes for Filipinos who want to apply for a loan instead of putting their money to 5-6 lending scheme. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
Some lawmakers agree with the banning of 5-6 lending scheme and see the need to reform cooperatives in the country. Nel Marie Buhok will tell us why.
Some Solons are pushing for reforms in cooperatives across the country to make it more accessible, especially to small entrepreneurs. This is to provide small and medium enterprises an alternative to the 5-6 lending scheme popularized by Indian nationals should the government ban its practice. According to Co-op National Confederation of Cooperative Representative Anthony Bravo, the cooperative industry will be willing to adjust its lending system if President Duterte decides to use cooperatives as conduits to the 1 billion peso standby fund.
So kung magiging conduit ng gobyerno ang ating kooperatiba, kapag implement ito, tanggalin yung 5-6 pero dapat ito yung kapalit. The same scheme, the same convenience, palagay ko makakatulong ito sa ating mga mamamayang Pilipino.
Based on data of Cooperative Development Authority, there are almost 25,000 registered cooperatives in the country. 80% of these are micro and small cooperatives. Some Solons agree with the proposal.
Lalong-lalo na sa mga palengke, di ba? Meron namang mga maliliit na kooperatiba yan sa palengke, di ba?
On the other hand, ACO-FW Congressman Anesito Bertiz says it is better to give Indian nationals a chance to make their jobs legal, especially since these Indians have actually been of some assistance to small entrepreneurs.
Itong mga Bombay na to, gawin nating organization to, magkaroon sila ng opisina, tapos ituloy pa rin nila yung ginagawa nilang umiikot sila araw-araw, pero hindi na siya 10%.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Some senators are opposing proposals to add tax to cosmetic products and fuel. Joyce Balancho will tell us why.
Some senators are not in favor of putting more burden to Filipino taxpayers by increasing taxes in cosmetic goods and other petroleum products. Senator Antonio Trillanes IV believes it will result in spike in prices of basic commodities. Former Senate Committee on Ways and Means Chairperson Senator Ralph Recto, on the other hand, says there is no fiscal crisis that will merit such increase. The timing is also not good since crude products are also high. What should be improved, he says, is the collection of taxes and efforts to stop smuggling. For her part, Senator Laila de Lima says this will put more burden to Filipinos because it will result in higher transportation fares and more expensive prices of goods. This proposal should be studied first, while corruption in revenue collection agencies should also be addressed. Meanwhile, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is also opposing measures to add taxes in cosmetic products. He says this will be discriminatory to rank-and-file women who highly consumes cosmetic products. As the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Economic Affairs, Gatchalian says that the projected tax revenue from vanity tax, which is 10 to 30%, will only generate 6 to 9 billion pesos. This is only 4 to 13% of the expected 148.2 billion revenue if it will be an alternative to fuel excise tax. He says the imposition of vanity tax will most likely affect the growth of cosmetic industry, now pegged to have 4.8% growth rate in the last 5 years. Joyce Balancho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Health issues remain at the top of the list of Filipinos' urgent personal concerns, according to the latest Pulse Asia survey. Aga Kaakbay will tell us why.
From 62% last year, 63% of Filipinos now want to stay healthy and avoid illnesses. This is based on the latest Pulse Asia nationwide survey on urgent personal and national concerns of Filipinos. Second on the list is to have a secure and well-paying job or source of income. To finish school or provide for schooling comes third. Next is to at least be able to have enough food to eat every day. The Pulse Asia survey was conducted among 1,200 Filipinos from December 6 to 11, 2016 through face-to-face interviews. In line with the latest survey, Akbayan Party List Representative Tom Villarin calls on the government to focus on providing Filipinos basic needs like reasonable pay and job security.
Matutukan talaga yung mga pangangailangan ng basic needs ng ating taong bayan. And also, ang problema pa rin sa poverty, dahil hindi naman nagbabago yung figure sa poor Filipinos.
The lawmaker added that poverty incidence will decrease if the state provides the needs of its citizens.
The demand for higher wages sa ngayon is also based sa expectations ng ating mga workers na kung sinasabi natin na okay yung ekonomiya, bakit yung the benefits derived from having an improved economy ay hindi napupunta sa workers.
President Rodrigo Duterte has initially said that he plans to use the billion of funds from PAGCOR to reopen the Butika ng Bayan that he says would help address health concerns of Filipinos. Agap Akbay, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The coming days will be busier for the candidates of Miss Universe 2016. Rina Villamor Camara will tell us why.
Of the candidates have arrived today. That's including Miss Venezuela, Miss Barbados, Miss Jamaica, and Miss Austria. Miss Norway was on the same flight with Miss Germany, who said it is her second time here in the Philippines. Also among the arrivals today are Miss Hungary, Miss Paraguay, Miss Portugal, Miss Croatia, Miss Georgia, Miss Italy, and Miss Slovenia. While some of the candidates who will be arriving later this evening are Miss Puerto Rico, Miss Korea, Miss France, Miss Sweden, Miss Honduras, and Miss Guam. Meanwhile, Miss Dominican Republic and Miss Nigeria will arrive on Saturday after they've decided to move their arrival on a later date. In the coming days, the girls will have a busy schedule. They will be divided into groups as they visit the most scenic tourist destinations in the country. 12 candidates will be going to Boracay, 27 in Vigan, 24 heading to Baguio, 51 in Batangas, and all of them will be in Cebu together with the reigning Miss Universe Pia Wurtzbach. The host of the Miss Universe pageant will still be Steve Harvey and plus-size model Ashley Graham. The two are arriving in Manila late next week. After their tour, the girls will have a courtesy call with President Rodrigo Duterte, followed by a governor's ball and then a national auction night before their big day on the 30th of January 2017 at the Mall of Asia Arena. Rina Villamor Camara, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Organizers of the Miss Universe 2016 pageant in Baguio City strictly monitor the menu prepared for the candidates. Joanna will tell us why.
Fresh and locally grown strawberries, fruits, vegetables, and white cheese made from pure Carabao's milk from Nueva Ecija are among the main ingredients of the Miss Universe 2016 menu being prepared for their visit on January 18 in Baguio City. UNTV was able to have a look at the main courses and desserts prepared for them. According to the management of the Baguio City Country Club that will be housing the candidates, they want to ensure that the entire menu will be in accordance to the diet plans of the candidates, including Miss Universe 2015 Pia Wurtzbach.
Well, for the food, we're waiting for the profile of the candidates. Who among the candidates are vegetarians and especially may allergies. So we're very particular about the health and safety of our candidates.
The event is a great opportunity for BCC's executive chef to showcase Filipino delicacies and cuisine. Chef Pedro also served as chef in Las Casas during the APEC Summit in April 2015.
Medyo excited na stressful. Yung mga menus na ipiprepare natin mainly 100% na mga fresh produce.
Since strawberry is the main fruit produced at Baguio City, the organizers prepared a variety of strawberry desserts. In fact, almost 70% of the desserts in the menu are made from ingredients native only to the Philippines. BCC also toured us inside the junior suites where the candidates will be staying. At the veranda, the girls will surely enjoy the breathtaking beauty of the Baguio Country Club and greens of Baguio pine trees. A total of 24 candidates will be arriving in Baguio City for the location shoot and other events. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Tourism Secretary Wanda Teo is not in favor of having only 17 Miss Universe candidates visiting Davao City. Eileen Taclob will tell us why.
Tourism Secretary Wanda Teo says it's all systems go for the Miss Universe pageant here in the Philippines. A series of tours showcasing different tourist spots in Luzon, Visayas and Mindanao will follow. Davao City was chosen as one of the destinations.
Kayo ang pipili kung gusto niyo sinong gusto niyo Miss Universe na papuntahin dito.
However, the secretary is not in favor of the decision that only 17 candidates will be sent to Davao City. Instead, she is pushing that it should be 30 or at least 20.
They're working on it now. Kasi sabi ko hindi talaga papayag kung 17 lang. Kasi sayang naman yung mga damit na ginawa and then at least maraming girls dapat para makita naman ninyo yung mga beauties.
In Davao City, candidates will visit the Eden Nature Park and a Mindanao tapestry show will follow in the afternoon, showcasing the creations of known fashion designer Rene Salud and 10 local designers. The materials for their design will be the products of different Mindanao weavers. Reigning Miss Universe Pia Wurtzbach will also join the fashion show. Teo adds that with the visit of the Miss Universe candidates in Davao, it would bring in more tourists not only in the city but to the Mindanao region as well.
Since na-feature na naman ang Davao, so nakita nila how safe Davao is. Kasi ang problema sa atin is always the travel advisory. Every time may travel advisory, bagsak ang Davao. So ito ngayon mapapakita natin na Davao is safe. Davao is safe, Mindanao is safe.
Teo also insists that the security for the visit of the candidates has already been taken care of. Eileen Taclob, UNTV News and Rescue, Davao City.
The Department of Tourism will promote cruise tourism as an alternative mode of traveling across the country. Monokson will tell us why.
Metro Manila, Palawan, and Boracay are the top 3 destinations in the Philippines last year, according to the Department of Tourism. Airplane is the leading mode of transportation to get to these places. This year, the Tourism Department wants to promote cruise tourism as an alternative mode of traveling to tourist spots around the country. DOT has already coordinated with different government agencies to prepare seaports in accommodating big ships like the Superstar Virgo.
Those agencies will tackle the issues and concerns in line to cruise tourism. Like, for example, relaxation of entry regulatory, enhancement of infrastructures and port facilities.
This coming March 19, the Superstar Virgo, a mid-sized cruise ship with complete amenities like hotel, restaurant, and entertainment facilities, will be docking in the Port of Manila. The Superstar Virgo is the first cruise ship to home port in Manila, meaning all voyages will start here in the Philippines. The first destination of the Superstar Virgo is in Lawag, before going to Kaohsiung, Taiwan, and in Hong Kong, then back to Manila. For only $490 or 25,000 pesos, anyone can experience riding aboard a first-class cruise ship. The home port deployment of the Superstar Virgo will greatly help employment in the country.
This could help boost our employment because if we have large ships docking in Manila or in any other parts of the Philippines, of course, we could create more shops, more human services.
DOT said the home port deployment of the Superstar Virgo is timely because the department has recently finished the National Cruise Tourism Development Study that will promote cruise tourism in the country. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
A low-pressure area is affecting parts of Bicol and eastern Visayas. It was estimated at 245 kilometers east of Legazpi City in Albay. Pag-asa says heavy rains may be experienced in Albay, Catanduanes, Sorsogon, Samar, and Eastern Samar. Residents in those areas are alerted against possible flash floods and landslides. Light to moderate rains will prevail over Quezon and the rest of Bicol and Visayas, while light rains is expected in Cordillera, Cagayan Valley, and Aurora. Isolated light rains will be experienced over Metro Manila and the rest of the country, while Mindanao will have isolated rain showers and thunderstorms.
Coming up, the Obama administration announces a repeal of a measure granting automatic residency to Cubans in the United States.
The French government remains confident of their preparedness to combat the flu outbreak.
And Iconic Parks Festival set to commemorate the King of Rock and Roll, Elvis Presley's 25th anniversary in rural Australia.
More from Y News after this break. Cuban migrants in Mexico face uncertain future after the repeal of granting automatic residency by the Obama administration. James Montuyan will tell us why.
The fate of Cuban migrants crossing overland through Mexico towards the United States is in limbo after the Obama administration on Thursday announced the repeal of a measure granting automatic residency to virtually every Cuban who arrived in the United States, whether or not they had visas. The end of the wet foot, dry foot policy, which allowed any Cuban who reached U.S. soil to stay but returned any picked up at sea, is effective immediately. Cuban officials had sought the change for years. The shift had been in the works for months. It was announced abruptly because advance warning might have inspired thousands more people to take to the seas between the island and Florida in order to beat a deadline. Some believe the incoming administration of Donald Trump could upset Obama's decision.
Cuando Trump ha reconocido públicamente que Cuba no ha hecho absolutamente nada por el bienestar de sus ciudadanos, por cumplir con las normas elementales de derechos humanos o con las libertades en cualquier sentido. Entonces es muy probable que el nuevo presidente norteamericano eche abajo cualquier cosa que Obama pretenda, y Obama también se está vengando un poco del voto de la Florida, que fue muy contrario no a la Clinton, sino a él.
According to officials, the United States and Cuba spent several months negotiating the change, including an agreement from Cuba to allow those turned away from the United States to return. Many Cuban migrants in Mexico are now facing uncertain future.
Bueno, peor es mirar para atrás. Y ya te digo, el escenario sería donde está la familia de uno. Donde mejor uno puede establecerse, donde está la familia de uno. Y si no, bueno, tratar de establecerse en un lugar que pueda ejercer la protección, en México, no sé, otro país.
The U.S. Coast Guard intercepts thousands of Cubans attempting the 90-mile crossing to Florida every year. But tens of thousands who reach U.S. soil, including via Mexico, have been allowed to stay in the country, while immigrants from other nations have been rounded up and sent home. Wet foot, dry foot began in 1995 under President Bill Clinton after an exodus of tens of thousands of Cubans who were picked up at sea by the Coast Guard as they tried to reach Florida. Cuban officials said the U.S. policy had promoted illegal migration, people trafficking, and dangerous journeys across the Florida Straits on flimsy vessels. James Montuyan, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
U.S. President Barack Obama on Thursday surprised his Vice President Joe Biden by awarding him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award a president can bestow on a civilian at a farewell ceremony at the White House.
So, Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans, for your love of country, and for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage. For the final time as president, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Obama says the medal was awarded to Biden with distinction, a particular honor that has been granted to the likes of President Ronald Reagan and General Colin Powell. It was the only time Obama has bestowed the honor with distinction.
This honor is not only well beyond what I deserve, but it's a reflection of the extent and generosity of your spirit. I don't deserve this, but I know it came from the President's heart.
Australia's Tiger Air gets a green light to fly thousands of passengers home from Indonesia. Nina Bascon will tell us why.
Indonesia has cleared Tiger Air Australia to operate flights from Bali to Australia until Monday, allowing around 2,000 stranded passengers to return home.
Isi suratnya perihal izin pengangkutan penumpang Tiger Airways Australia dari Denpasar.
The budget carrier had cancelled flights on Thursday and the following day after Indonesia revoked its permission to fly due to a bureaucratic technicality. All stranded passengers have been provided accommodation by the airlines as they wait to fly out from between the dates of January 13 to 16. But not all passengers were informed as the Tiger Air office at the airport had closed.
Don't know where to go.
Tiger Air flights from Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth to Bali, which began last March, are flying under Virgin Australia's license and using its pilots until Indonesia grants approval for Tiger Air to operate them on its own. Tiger said that flights to Australia from Bali from next Tuesday, January 17 onwards were under review, and flights from Australia to Bali from January 13 to 20 have been cancelled. Flights from Australia to Bali from January 21 onwards were also under review, it said in a statement. Bali, known for its beaches, mountains, and paddy fields, is a popular holiday destination for Australians. Nina Bascon, UNTV News and Rescue, Melbourne, Australia.
The French Health Ministry is confident that hospitals are strictly implementing the emergency plan against the flu outbreak. Jovic Burmas will tell us why.
The French government has announced on Thursday that it is well prepared to tackle a particularly violent flu outbreak, which has put public hospitals under strain. Health Minister Marcel Touren said close to 200 hospitals had implemented an emergency plan in response to the epidemic, and 30 have begun postponing non-urgent operations to free up beds. The minister visited a hospital in Boulogne-Billancourt on Wednesday, where she called on hospitals to reorganize their resources to reinforce their capacity and avoid congestion on wards. Speaking after an emergency government meeting on Thursday, Touren says the system is well prepared to deal with the outbreak.
Aux Français que tous les moyens sont mis en œuvre pour faire face à l'épidémie et que tous les moyens sont mis en place dans les hôpitaux pour que celles et ceux qui auront besoin ou auraient besoin d'être hospitalisés pour la grippe puissent être soignés, accueillis dans de bonnes conditions.
The president of France's Emergency Doctors Association, Patrick Pelluc, says the crisis is rooted in cuts in hospital resources to save costs.
La solution, elle est de toute façon d'être moderne, c'est-à-dire d'être en 2017 et pas d'avoir une gestion des hôpitaux comme au XXe siècle.
Touren denied that hospitals were overwhelmed. She said France is currently passing through the peak of the flu outbreak, which is expected to last several weeks longer. Jovic Burmas, UNTV News and Rescue, Europe.
Instagram is introducing ads into its Instagram stories, a feature that allows users to share a series of photos and videos that disappear after 24 hours. The company says it is testing full-screen video ads within stories with around 30 global advertisers. The ads will be posted with text reading sponsored, and they will be a maximum of 15 seconds long that can be viewed by its 150 million users who interact with stories each day. In addition, 70% of people on Instagram follow a business, while 1/3 of the most viewed stories so far have been produced by businesses. Thus, the practicality of inserting advertising into the section. Japan's Football Association supports the FIFA expansion. Meanwhile, cyclists expect a new route ahead of the La Vuelta a España opening. Aaron Romero tells us why.
Organizers unveil another demanding route for the Vuelta a España, featuring 9 mountain finishes. The opening stage will take place outside Spain for only the 3rd time, with riders setting off in Nîmes, France, on August 19. The penultimate stage will require riders to head up to Angliru, Spain's toughest single climb in the northern region.
Sí, yo creo que tenemos un modelo. Siempre hay que ver qué pasó el año pasado para plantear el siguiente. Yo creo que la Vuelta funciona. Seguimos teniendo muchas llegadas en alto, seguimos teniendo montaña en las 3 semanas y seguimos teniendo algo que yo creo que es muy importante. Una Vuelta que va de menos a más, con una traca final, siempre una etapa previa a Madrid con un coloso, en este caso el...
The 3,297.7 kilometer race will include 21 stages, heading to Andorra, Catalonia, the Valencia region, southern Andalusia province, before finishing in Madrid on September 10. Meanwhile, Kozo Tashima, president of the Japan Football, fully supports FIFA's decision to expand the World Cup to 48 teams from the current 32. Football's governing body, FIFA, voted on Tuesday for this expansion, brushing aside concerns that the expansion would lower the overall standard of the tournament and make it too big and unwieldy. But Tashima echoed FIFA President Gianni Infantino's promise of giving many more a chance to dream. Japan's first participation in the World Cup was owed to FIFA's last expansion in 1998 in France, when team numbers increased from 24 to the current 32. Aaron Romero, UNTV News and Rescue, New York.
The battle is getting fiercer as the UNTV Cup Season 5 approaches the quarter-final round. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
There are only 2 weeks left before the second round elimination of the UNTV Cup Season 5 concludes. With the BOC Transformers on top of the teams that entered the round, other teams are struggling to remain in the league. Just like the AFP Cavaliers, which now has a 4-4 win-loss record. The Cavaliers vows a challenging match with the other 2-time champion Judiciary Magis in a crucial game on Sunday at 5 p.m. The Season 4 champs must topple the Magis to maintain a ticket to the quarter-final round.
Una ticket at easy, di ba? Pero siyempre, kagaya nga sinabi ko, hindi naman bibigay sa amin yan ng madali. Sige, we have to work hard for it sa practice pa rin.
In the second game on Sunday's triple header, Coach Bennett Palad's sides will attempt to demolish the Malacanang Kamao, who now sits in 4th place.
Yung last 2 games na mahalaga, kailangan namin manalo para makapasok kami sa 4. Isang talo kami, ma-out kami. Kaya medyo delikado, kaya kailangan manalo.
On the other hand, the Kamao will strive to knock out the Builders and bounce back from 3 consecutive losses. And in the first game, the BOC Transformers accepts the challenge the BFE Firefighters has in store in a face-off at 2 p.m. After 8 games, the rookie team has maintained a pristine record. On the other hand, it is a must for the Firefighters to extinguish the Transformers in order to remain in the league. The triple header will be aired on UNTV, emanating from the Pasig City Sports Center on January 15, 2017. Viewers online can log on to untvweb.com to enjoy the games in the League of Public Servants. Bernard Daddies for the UNTV Cup Season 5.
It has been almost 40 years since Elvis Presley died, but the memory of the King of Rock and Roll lives on in the central New South Wales town of Parkes. Naomi Backing will tell us why.
What started out as a dinner in the Parkes Gracelands restaurant has blossomed into the iconic Parkes Elvis Festival, which after a shaky start is celebrating its 25th year anniversary in 2017. With this year's theme, Elvis' classic 1964 film Viva Las Vegas, on Friday, fans not only donned rhinestone-embellished jumpsuits, their best wigs, but sequins, feathers, and all things Vegas while buskers entertained the crowds.
The local economy just, goes through the roof this time of year. People come from far and wide and across the world to come to this, this prestigious Elvis, celebration, I suppose. And look, local businesses, they get behind it, they support it, and people in general just, they just love it. Live and breathe it. Elvis for a week. It's fantastic.
The festival sees Parkes balloon to over double its normal size, with organizers expecting 25,000 to 30,000 people to attend in 2017, but the concept wasn't always welcomed by the locals. January was thought to be the best time for the festival as it coincided with Presley's birthday on January 8th. The Parkes Elvis Festival officially starts when the Elvis Express train rolls into Parkes railway station from Sydney. Carrying hundreds of people dressed in Elvis-inspired clothing, the train is greeted by locals and visitors on the platform wanting to welcome those arriving into Parkes as Elvis music plays from the station's speakers.
I think there was a bit of a cringe factor really with most people, including myself, but I think we've come to love Elvis and love the festival over the years, and that's just disappeared now, and it's just a great event,
The Parkes Elvis Festival concludes on Sunday, January 15th, with various activities throughout the town and a parade in the town centre on Saturday. Naomi Backing, UNTV News and Rescue, Melbourne, Australia.
The world's highest bridge shows the first jump of a 29-year-old extreme adventure lover. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
Chinese thrill seeker successfully conducted the world's first jump from the highest bridge on earth in southwest China's Yunnan province on Sunday. The 29-year-old extreme sports enthusiast, nicknamed as Adam, completed the jump from the newly opened Beipanjiang Bridge, which is 565 meters above the river. The whole process took 81 seconds, with Adam opening his parachute 10 seconds into the jump, about 205 meters above the ground. Adam's team had arrived at the bridge for an on-site investigation on January 6 to prepare for the jump. Adam has several successful jumping experiences before this, but the jump from Beipanjiang Bridge was far more challenging than his previous ones due to the height of the bridge and the canyon under it. The 1,341.4 meter long cable-stayed suspension bridge was put into operation on December 29, 2016. Construction of the bridge started in 2013, costing about 1 billion yuan or about $150 million. Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Those are the reasons behind the news, January 13, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Jerry Alcantara.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching Y News.